All right, welcome back to the goddamn pod. It's season 2. We're back in action. Of course, nice to have a familiar face back on. Aftab, Ali.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Somebody called me
Mignana.
Aftab, like the insurance company. So it gets mad.
Right. That's what happens all the time. You're like, huh. So I am happy to have you back up top. I wanted to make sure that I pronounce it right. It does bother me when people do it for myself. You know, I love your freaking Instagram handle though. Protein Seek, like, come on, man. That is the coolest name.
I changed it for like a few days, and there was like a mass uprising, and everyone's like, "Yo, change it the fuck back!" Like,
What'd you change it to?
I don't know. I think I changed to, like Shake Jitsu or something. But like, yeah, ended up like, luckily enough, nobody took the username, so I'm back to being Protein Shake.
Okay, cool. So we're back to that. Welcome back to the show. I know we're back on season 2. Since we last caught up, you've had a lot going on. How's life been treating you lately, man?
Life's been pretty good. I'm training over at Monarch Jiu-Jitsu now under Nick Gulo, and I think I've been with him the last 3 months, and it's been an amazing experience so far. It's been a great gym. Coaching has been great. Been getting sharper, and yeah, just day to day, everything's been like pretty good.
Good. That's sick, man. It's solid when you go to a good team and you feel the energy and the synergy is really good with the coaching staff and your teammates. I know you were previously at Royal, if I'm not mistaken, and then under Taste Ludus.
Yeah, I was there for about 4 years. It was an amazing experience. It was a great time, and I just made the switch over pretty recently. Just needed, I guess, a bit more like attention in the sense of like there were things that I need to sharpen up, and Nick knows my style pretty well, so it's been great being able to like work with him and being able to essentially just sharpen up my craft.
Of course, man, that makes a big difference. Which, speaking of, you've been on an incredibly active competitive push lately. Can you tell me what's changed your perspective? You know, have you changed your perspective in jiu-jitsu at all since you started competing so heavily?
Yeah. Honestly, the whole competition aspect of it is just for fun. I have tons of fun competing, especially very early on. It was like very nerve wracking and it sucked. My first competition, I went like 0-4. I thought I was going to walk through everybody. It was a great wake up call. But competition has been really fun. Just get like a kick out of competing. It's always like, it's always a good vibe. I get to like start the day with some friends, get together, we all head out together, compete, and then get some food after. Like it's always a great time.
That's sick, man. That sounds like a great fucking time. It sounds
unless I lose, then it fucking sucks. But that's fine.
Then you're kind of like, damn it, I could have won and I didn't. Why? I get you. But recently, you had competed in Ireland, which is a big deal. How did that experience go for you, like both on and off the mats? What was that? Can you talk me through that week going into the Ireland?
Yeah, absolutely. So I first landed in Ireland with a few friends, and it wasn't. I believe like the whole trip was like supposed to be booked for like a week later, but then I found out ADCC was going on. I was like, if I'm going to Ireland, I'm not missing this. So I ended up signing up, and it was an amazing experience. I definitely wish I was a little bit more focused because we did all of our fun stuff first. So I got to go to Galway, got to go to Dublin, have tons of fun. But by the time it came to compete, I was already like burnt out mentally. So the next time I do compete, compete internationally, I'm gonna make sure to get through the competition first, and then get to all the fun stuff.
That makes a lot of sense. I get you, because by the time you go there, you're drained, and you're like, oh my god, I got to focus on competition, and I can see how that kind of creates that type of environment where your brain is like, okay, dude, like I need a break.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna try to think about jiu-jitsu right now. Like, come on, man, plantar motion and where everything is and how does it look, and then of course I imagine the venue has to look a little different than it does over here in the States.
Yeah.
ACC event, it's massive.
Yeah. It was I think it was at like some sort of college, but it was a great layout. It was a great event. The guys I went. My bad.
You got it.
The guys that I was going against, they were great. And yeah, it was definitely a different style, especially out there. It's a bit more like MMA heavy. Guys would press forward a lot, a little different than what I'm used to over here, where like maybe a guy will play guard or like I'll play guard. I don't think it's really the case out there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense considering what the layout is over in Ireland. But during a recent match, you popped an opponent's foot. You had that first pop is that your first pop ever? Like, have you ever had that before?
I think so. It was horrifying. I mean, it's typically a move I always set up from like single leg X or reverse X. I'll usually roll through for a toe hold. It was weird considering the fact, especially in training, you're in the training room, you don't really like look to like hurt somebody. And it wasn't what I was planning to do in competition either. I think I just added a little extra pressure and the foot went poop. And I felt like it dangled for a second. I don't know if it popped. I don't know. I think he was okay. Thank God he's okay. But when I just felt that, I started freaking out. It was disgusting. Hopefully, it never happens again.
Yeah, it's a nasty sound for anyone who's never seen it live or even in videos. When you hear an opponent's foot pop or a body part pop, you're like, oh
Yeah.
snap. And then you kind of like have a moment where you retract a little bit. I had that similar situation. One of my teammates actually did it to one of my coworkers. They had both competed in the same event. My coworker came to work on Monday and she's like, yeah, I got my foot pop, but I think the girl went to your gym. And I was like, what do you mean? She shows me the video and I see my teammate Monica just pop her foot. I was like, oh,
That's rough. That's rough.
oh, that was tough. You know, the poor girl's in like she was wearing a cast and she had like, so I was helping her every time I saw her. I was like, let me just hold that for you. You
Yeah,
feel
sometimes
bad.
it's rough, man. Anything popping is rough.
Coming up, you've got a January 28th match, I believe, or is it the one that's been postponed to February?
Oh no, it's January 26th, so it's literally tomorrow. I have a
Wow.
match tomorrow, but yeah, I think it's over in Bristol, Connecticut for IGC, and I think it's against Selvin, great competitor, super scrappy guy. Should be a great match.
Okay. So your match is tomorrow, the 26th. Wow, that's a good date. But with that in mind, I also saw that you recently posted you were competing again in February. Is that February 8th or?
Yeah, so I think for the next 3 weeks I'm competing. I have a match tomorrow. I have LIJJ next Saturday, and then I'm on tap on the following week.
Wow. Got a nice busy schedule coming up for the next month. At least
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
that's gonna roll into the summer. Typically,
Yeah.
that's what happens. Everybody starts kind of getting those competitive juices going now, and then by summertime they're just running on 100.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You've been
Definitely.
doing really great with that, by the way. So congrats, brother.
Thank you,
When
man.
last
Thank you.
you said my goal is to be more competitive in the coming year, and you did it. I mean, a year ago you were doing competition steadily, and now you're doing so routinely. So
Thank you, man.
we can
Thank
see.
you. I guess I also have like Ramadan coming up. I did sign up for a Naga, and I think it's in Ramadan, so that's gonna be interesting. Definitely gonna have to make sure well hydrated the night before, but I've competed before during Ramadan, so it shouldn't be too bad.
I feel like there's a strategic advantage to having Ramadan because we see guys like Islam and Habib and those guys. They try not to compete around that time because they're really focused on the prayer. But I feel like because they're giving their body a break from all this stuff, it gives them such a rewiring, and they feel a lot better when they come into competition. And I feel like even if they did compete, I don't think much would change. I think they'd actually be lighter and faster
Yeah,
because
yeah, 100%.
Ramadan
I think
focus and discipline that I don't think a lot of people can match.
yeah, no, 100%. I definitely think like especially when it's MMA, it is a bit more different with like head strikes and stuff. But with jiu-jitsu or wrestling, it's tough, of course, to do it fasted, but it's very manageable.
Yeah, I think that's the case as well. From the outside looking in, I mean, you could speak to it way better than I could. I haven't observed it before as a practicing individual or Muslim. Now let's get on to something that I had asked you last season, and you were like, "I have an idea. I kind of want to." You got new sponsors, my man.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I've been working alongside Superb Submission Grapplers. They've been an amazing sponsor. They make sure I'm fly for every single event. So that's been amazing. And recently did a charity tournament over the summer, and I think they gave over like $800 worth of like gear away to me to give out to like competitors, and they've been nothing but short but of an amazing sponsor.
Yeah, man, we've been seeing you do the damn thing. Now that you have that kind of support from Superb, which has been so amazing to you. I mean, you had reached out to me to tell me about it, and I was like, "Wow, dude, that's a huge deal." Do you feel like your jiu-jitsu path is charting upward, and then do you feel like there's a big difference now, contrary to last time when we spoke on the previous season?
Yeah, I think it's definitely trending upwards. I think it's more so just expanding in the sense of like more paths and opportunities are opening up, which is always a great thing.
Sick. So let's talk about your 2024 season. What do you think was your best performance, and why does it stand out to you?
2024 season. That's a great question. Choose my best performance. I think it's gonna sound really stupid, but I think I think it was a match over in October. I did a super fight. I think it was against a purple belt. I think he was whooping my ass the whole time. It was bad, man. It was bad. He was whooping me left and right. I think I was down like 14 points. And at one point, I think he takes his hand and it's come out of a scramble and we're resetting. Takes his hand and he puts it on my head and pushes my head against the wall. I'm just like there, like that wasn't nice. I end up basically coming back in the match and finishing it with Ezekiel from bottom mount. not that it's like my best performance, but it's definitely like a notable, like it'll stick with me for a while performance.
Damn, so the perseverance comes through. But yeah, that's rude as hell, man. I like competing too, but don't shove a guy's head into a
Don't
wall.
be
The
mean
fuck
to
wrong
me,
with you?
man. Come on, I'm so
Don't
nice
do
to you.
that. Right, it's so rude. Looking back as well on the 2024 season, what would you say was the toughest match for you last year, or what match was it that you think really shaped you or made your game so much better?
To the 2024 season, I would definitely have to say my match against Eli, which was a match that I ended up losing. I think by inside or outside heel hook. Definitely showed that I had necessarily like a lot of holes in my game, and that there was a lot to work on. Eli's a great competitor, an amazing competitor, and it kind of just showed like no matter how good I might be offensively, in the sense of like I'm always trying to hunt for the sub. Defensively, I need to clean up a lot, especially in that match. I ended up getting caught bad, and yeah, I definitely think that had to be like the focal point of me, essentially, like especially heading over to like Monarch to like sharpen up my game and like rebuild it from the ground.
That's sick, man. At least you got something good out of that. You were able to change that over. Looking ahead into 2025, what are your main goals for this competitive season, or is there any specific tournaments or titles you're targeting this year?
Honestly, just maybe one more Ezekiel from Bottom Mount, and then I sell like an instructional, maybe one more or two more. I'm just joking, but not really. But in the sense of, I just want to keep competing, man. I don't care if it's like a small local promotion or if it's like ADCC on or like somewhere on the grand stage. Just want to keep competing. Just want to keep getting better and just keep getting at it day by day.
Yeah, man, a true pugilist. I respect that. We had a brief conversation on Instagram recently about your previous competition where you had a super fight.
Mm-hmm.
You were hospitalized before that event.
Yeah. 3 days prior to that, I ended up getting a mini stroke, like a TIA. So, yeah, funny enough, when I was in the hospital, they announced the super fight, and nobody, I think maybe outside of like two or three people, nobody really knows this. But yeah, I was hospitalized and still ended up competing, and I think it went to like ref's decision, but. Yeah, should have. Looking back at it, it should have been a little smart.
Yeah, I was about to say, having a mini stroke before competition, I would have been like, you know what, maybe I should take a break
Yeah,
because
yeah. But it wasn't related to like jujitsu or anything. It was completely like completely related to like just another facet of life.
okay, so other things in your life had you kind of going on 20 instead of 10.
Essentially, yeah.
And so essentially you ended up there. Okay. I mean, we're happy you're healthy. We're happy to see you. You're fine. That's the good thing, but that kind of shows how tough you are, brother. Because you had a mini stroke and went to competition. What within 3 to 4 days?
I think it was two like 3 days out, but I was fine. I was fine at the event. Not to like make any excuse of me losing that match, but yeah, I mean, wish I did win. It would have been a cool story to tell. But it was a great match. It was a great match.
Dude, that shows a lot of heart, man. You're a tough dude just to have that. It's fucking intense.
Thank you, man.
Um, are there any dream opponents you'd like to face this year?
Dream opponents. That's a great question. Honestly, not really, man. I just maybe a lot less rematches would be great, but I would love to face anybody and everyone.
That's like my man is welcoming all comers. That means everybody you want it, come get the smoke. He said it
In the kindest way possible, in like the
in the
nicest way
nicest
possible.
possible way. Yes. So
Please don't hurt me.
yeah, don't do that to my boy. For the season, I know you switched over to Monarch
Mhm.
within the last 3-4 months. You said you've been tightening your game, getting that extra help with those small details that you kind of key in with. What what changes have you made recently to your training overall? Like, would you say that have you changed the way you eat, or when you do train, do you focus on something specific? Is there something you've done differently that you feel is going to kind of help as this aggressively through the 2025 season for you?
I definitely need to change the way that I eat now that I think about it. But outside of that, I've been working a lot more positional rounds, just a lot more drilling, making sure like the finer details of like whether it be some sort of moves, like that they're completely fleshed out, and just making sure to drill a lot more, to do a lot more positionals, a little less focus on open rounds, but I've definitely felt sharper because of it.
Okay, so those definitely help out as far as we know. We're gonna see how it takes you into the 2025 season. But
Absolutely.
with all that you're doing with your jujitsu, you've now changed gyms. You have been killing it with the competitive schedule. How do you maintain the balance between competing, training, and just life outside the sport of jujitsu?
Honestly, I know it sounds like it's a crazy schedule, but day by day, it's like the schedule I prefer. I go to train. I mean, I work, go to train, see my friends, and it's just works. It's just like that 5 to 6 times a week. Work, training, and then usually like competing on a Saturday or Sunday. It keeps things a lot more manageable.
Okay, if that's what keeps it manageable for you, that works. Some people might need to hear that. They're gonna be like, I don't know if I have the time. I don't know if this is gonna work for me. And then there's some folks like yourself, Monday through Friday, I do whatever I do. I have a good time. Saturday, I compete, and then Sunday, I get the rest. And some folks, that works, and some folks are like, I don't know, do that. It's terrifying.
It's also like, I mean, I feel like the way you look at competition will also shape that. If you treat competition as this like big scary sort of like obstacle in your way, then it'll be that big scary obstacle in your way. But if you genuinely like treat it like as some sort of like fun sporting event, then that's what it'll be. Especially in the beginning, I used to be fucking terrified, man. Like 3 weeks out of a competition, I'd be up researching my opponents, trying to find like the smallest little clip, and then overthinking everything. Now it's more so just okay, I'll work on what I can, and then come the day of, we'll see if it was enough. If it wasn't, we'll go back to the drawing board. If it was, great. But it's just like a day by day process.
So would you say you've taken that approach of like, I'm going to focus on what I know how to do and what I'm good at and see if it works against somebody else? And if it doesn't, then we fix that. But
yeah, absolutely. I think I've just been trying to sharpen up my tools in every sense of the way, whether it's my guard or leg locks or wrestling or, passing. I think the more essentially like the more complete I become, like you should be able to handle just about everybody. But I mean, maybe that's not the case every time, right? Because I've definitely lost and everyone definitely loses. But you take what you can from it and you take those lessons and just try to like work on yourself. Like I said, it's a day by day process.
okay, that's a fair assessment. I think that's good for a lot of the young guys that are just starting jiu-jitsu who are kind of overthinking it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they can take something from that. Let's talk about the future of the season. We're just going to stick to 2025 because I think if we look too far ahead, we kind of lose our mind. What does success look like for you in this season? Because I know that you're not that kind of person that's like titles and gold around your neck all the time. Like those are great and they do happen and you do compete quite often. But what does success look like for you in the 2025 season, or at least just for the year 2025 as a whole?
Just I guess getting better in like every performance that I put on, the next performance is always better. Maybe I show something new, maybe I show something different, or maybe I show what I've been working on. And it would just be more so like I try to improve with every performance that I would do.
Okay, I think that's a dope way to look at it because you've given yourself the objective of just get better each time, as opposed to like there's a lot of stress. I've asked somebody that in the past and they've gone, oh, I want to win this title and this title, so I can go to this title. And I'm like, I mean, that's a great idea that you have a track or a path you want to follow, but it's a lot of pressure to put on somebody, especially when they're competing on a regular schedule and they're not competing all the time, like strictly full time as a competitor with that one job, because then it becomes stressful and it does become a bit much. When you look back on your career in the future, what do you hope to achieve or to have contributed to the sport of jiu-jitsu?
I say if I look back maybe like 20 years from now, at some point I do want to say like I help people in the sense of like their jiu-jitsu journey. At some point when I further down the line, I do want to teach, help others. Same way like others have put time into me, I want to put time into others, and just give people like especially the sport. It's my day could be fucking horrific, but if I go to train, it all disappears. I get to see the guys at the gym, and it's having that sense of community, having that sense of community essentially, and being able to like share with other people. I definitely think that would be like one of the key reasons I'd want to basically
That's like, man, I guess we all secretly like hope that we get so good at jiu-jitsu we can just coach in the future. But would you be Coach Aftab, Coach Ali, or Coach Protein Sheet? Like, which one would you go with your students? What are you gonna put
I don't want to be called coach. I just want to be called Aftab, to be honest. I do teach a like a masjid program, a local masjid program. I teach jiu-jitsu there at Masjid Hamza. So even when somebody comes up and calls me coach, somebody called me professor once. I'm like, yo, bro, just call me Aftab, man. Please don't call me coach. It just sounds weird, especially since like I'm still like early into like training and whatnot. It's just weird to hear.
I get what you mean. I've only been called coach once, and I was in a wrestling room, and I was like, nope, not coach.
Somebody called me sensei. Another person called me master. I'm like, yo, we're not doing this. Please, we're not doing this.
Yeah, that gets a little nerve wracking in the earlier stages. But in the future, when you do have your own academy, or if you decide to have your own academy, would you be focusing mostly on the area where you grew up, or would you like to go to a specific region you feel is kind of lacking?
I've always thought about maybe going out in the Middle East, and then I was born in Pakistan, so maybe creating a gym out there. Maybe that's one of the things that's destined for me. I don't know. I guess we'll see in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, man. I was thinking that I was like, maybe he'd want to go somewhere else. Maybe he knows of a region he's been to and is like, man, jiu-jitsu could really do a lot of good there. And we're seeing that with like Craig Jones recently, going all around the world recently and doing shows and doing these seminars and showing off the parts of the world where jiu-jitsu has become more prominent with time. And I was wondering what you thought about that. How do you feel about seeing jiu-jitsu become this life-changing sport that is now so ingrained in other parts of the world that it helps them move forward and propels them in a positive way?
I think it's amazing, to be honest. It's like a sport that has it's in the sense of like it brings together like a community. You're able to do it every day. There's not much sports where you can also spar every day. Like, boxing, MMA, you can't spar every single day. But for jiu-jitsu, you can go up just about 110% every single day. As long as you rest, recover, you'll be fine. I think it's very cool seeing like being able to give just essentially other people purpose by introducing a sport to them, and especially a sport like jiu-jitsu where community is huge. I know, like, especially like when you compete, like even when I compete, it's just one person and I'm going out against another person. But if it wasn't like the support from whether it's my friends or my teammates, I don't think something like that would ever happen. I also think it's the reason why I compete so much, just in the sense of the support system I have. And when you give essentially that support system, that idea of a support system to other people, it creates like a stronger sense of community.
Well said. My man is already getting close to the professor status. Look at that. Not too far removed, brother. All right. So you went ahead and left one team for another. What do you think? Not to put them against each other, but if you're looking at it from the perspective of the outside looking in, what would you say was the best thing about training with Royal Jiu-Jitsu with Mateus Ludus, and what do you think is better, or what would you say is the highlight of training with Monarch Jiu-Jitsu?
I would definitely say, especially for Royal, the training is absolutely amazing. It's very hard to replicate the number of people in that room, and everyone is like damn near a world class athlete. Everyone is a great athlete, especially with my teammates over at Royal. I wouldn't have gotten to the point where I am now if I hadn't been there. Mateus is an amazing coach. Paulo's an amazing coach. It's an amazing facility. And in terms of Monarch, just the coaching from Nick has been amazing. It's been great so far. Yeah, I just love the vibe and the atmosphere.
Okay, those are two things you definitely say. There's a highlight for each gym. That's what I like, because I wasn't trying to put you to pit them like who's better. No, we just want to know, like, all right, if you were from the outside looking, what would you tell somebody about joining?
Both gyms are amazing in their own right. Definitely two of the best academies on Long Island.
Sick. And my man is stay repping the Long Island vibe. I've seen you LIJJN, I believe it is, or LIJN. I'm sorry, I butchered that. But I have seen them have a recent uptick in competition, so I'm happy to see that Long Island's getting a lot of recognition more than previously. Previously, it was just like, Chris Weidman and Matt Serra and Aljamain Sterling, and now we know that there's a huge fight culture in Long Island.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so much better to drive out of Long Island and have to go to Jersey, man. Yeah. I hate Jersey so much. It's amazing. It's an amazing state, but people do not know how to drive in Jersey.
I mean, people don't know how to drive in a lot of states, man. I've lived in too many. In Florida, I wanted to pull my hair out. In New York, they're overly aggressive sometimes, and I'm like, I need a break from this. Connecticut, they're too scared, they're timid, and then Jersey, they drive like there's just the only person that's driving on the road, and you're like,
yeah, this is like a beef I've had with Jersey for years. It's not like you. Yeah. I think it's been since like 2018. Oh, but yeah.
But you know what though, it's a good thing because it highlights the kind of like growth that you get with coming up from the Northeast. We're a lot more similar than I think we get to say out loud, but we do have our differences, the way that we kind of hang out. The only thing I love about Jersey, I think, is if I can't get to Queens to go get some food, I do like to go to Jersey. Because
Jersey is amazing when it comes to
food. Yes.
Jersey also has like a pretty good competition scene coming up from like Chronic Combat, and most recently I was at Ambush. They have like an open that they do. It was an amazing event, great time. But yeah, I mean it's pretty cool to be able to like even just travel in the tri-state area. You go an hour out or 2 hours out, there's competitions everywhere.
Yeah, Yeah, I think that we're seeing the Northeast become more competitive. I think the problem with New York though is that they really like to tax it here, and the taxes here are always a pain in the ass. But when you're competing and then you're trying to put on a show, and I think that New York has kind of stuck on that old model of boxing,
Hmm.
and it's like that's not boxing, man. Boxing makes so much money you can afford to do it that way.
Yeah, 100%.
Jiu-jitsu kind of needs a little bit more love in that department. I'm hoping that we pick up what Jersey's doing really well with that. To be determined, right? What can we do but sit on the outside and say, hey, I suggest it, but you can take it, you can leave it. All right, let's wrap up for you because I know you're not feeling well. Ladies and gentlemen, this young man is sick. He's sick for a little while and is feeling really under the weather, and he still decided to come on the show. So, brother, thank you so much for doing that for us.
No, anytime, man. Thank you so much for having me, Danny.
All right, brother. Last but not least, last question I can ask for you. Where can our listeners support you? Whether it's through your sponsors, some social media, tuning into your matches January and February, and we're hoping to hear what competitions you got laying ahead in March. Well, where can the people find you and where can they support you?
Yeah, definitely check out one of my main sponsors, Superb Submission Grapplers. They're an amazing clothing company, and they'll keep you fly. Outside of that, my Instagram is Protein Shake, so you can find me there. Typically, if there's any match announcements, it's always on there. And yeah, it was great being on the show with you, man. Thank you so much for having me on again.
It's always a pleasure to have you, man. You're one of the best guests that we have. You constantly come on. You're always happy. You're always in a good mood, and you're always giving some good energy, man. I really appreciate that. For the rest of you, go ahead, check the link in the description of the video. We will have all his links for his social medias. Superb better start hiring you for that damn slogan. They'll keep you fly. Superb. Train Jiu-Jitsu will keep you fly. That's gonna be the new one. Watch. We're gonna put it in. They're gonna put it in, stamp it, publishing. We're gonna get the rights for it. Hopefully you get a cut of that because you keep telling us how fly they keeping you. And the rash guards are fly. I will give it to them every time I see him posting it. Go ahead and leave a comment in the video, like, comment, subscribe, do the thing that really helps the show because that's the free way to assist the program with getting bigger and bigger. We're a little over 2.6K subscribers and still growing. So hopefully, we push the show big enough we can start getting a studio and then having you in person. I'd love to have you come up to Westchester sometime and sit down with you face to face so we can actually chill out and show the people what you got going on at that point in your career. I'm gonna see if we could book you for season 3. You may not be available. It might be a little too expensive at that point.
Nah, I'll definitely be here, man.
I'm messing, brother. All right, my man. God bless you, and I hope you recover soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your curiosity as always. This is the Goddamn MMA podcast, and well, we've already clocked season 2.
Thank you, brother.